So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Vangelis Ozounis. I'm representing ENISA here. I'm head of the Infrastructure and Secure Infrastructure and Services unit. I'm very happy to be here in Berlin. I used to live in Berlin, and actually I used to work in this institution, so it's always a privilege to come back. I got my PhD from here, and I'm very proud of it. So thank you again for inviting me here. I will present today the activities of ENISA in the area of secure cloud computing. So a few words about ENISA. It's a European agency founded a few years ago. It's an independent agency. It reports to the European Parliament. It deals with cybersecurity and has no operational mandate. It's mostly active in the area of good practices and so on, and cloud computing is one of our activities. Fairly recently, the mandate of the agency is extended for a few years, for 7 more years, up to 2020. And we are actually very happy about it, and we are working to make ENISA a more useful and impact-oriented institution. So from the security and privacy point of view, there are a number of challenges. We have already addressed them yesterday. So definitely the resilience is an issue. We all know that cloud computing is by definition resilient, and we have seen it in a number of cases, like for example in Japan with a major earthquake. A number of services were up and running despite the disaster, because actually most of the services were running on a cloud computing. So definitely this is an important characteristic. However, we should not forget that clouds do not hang in the universe. They relate to existing IT infrastructure, so they depend on existing networks. So, and the availability of the networks is always an issue, as it used to be in the past, as it is today, as it will be in the future. So that's definitely an issue. There are regulatory and compliance requirements. Yesterday we discussed a bit. Today already we raised issues of standardization, certification. So this is something that we all are worried about, this, especially small companies that would like to go to the cloud. They are really afraid if they are really locked in the cloud. What happens if they move from one provider to the other? How they can be sure that they have a secure solution, and so on and so on. And obviously the legislators are deeply worried about this, and they work on these matters. And I will explain later how ENISA supports these activities. Data protection and privacy is another challenge, is another issue. We are all concerned about the fact that our data are spread. They are located in places that we don't know. Even if we know where the data are, we don't know where the backups are. So it's really tricky, and there are all these issues about legal jurisdiction and what happens if there is a data leakage, and who is responsible, and what kind of legal frameworks apply. And this is definitely something that also regulatory agencies like data protection authorities and also the Commission thinks about. And yesterday we had a very interesting presentation from the Secretary of State here in Germany that presented a few important challenges to be addressed still in the data protection law for cloud computing. And we have also the issue of loss of governance that you are all very familiar. So these are very important challenges. Now ENISA as a European institution operates within a European framework, and we try to become useful in that context. So definitely we support the Commission in implementing the EU cloud strategy, and we are very proud that we are becoming more and more active into this, and we become useful. And taking the opportunity, I would like to thank also Ken for giving us the chance. This is really important. So there are a number of objectives in the EU cloud strategy. This is an important development, and we are very happy that the Commission took the initiative to come up with a strategy like this. Security is a component of it, and of course, we as a European institution, we try to position ourselves in this area and make our work useful for these activities. There are a number of working groups. ETSI already presented. We are very happy actually to to collaborate with ETSI, and definitely there is an issue with the standards. We have a problem with the certification. There are a number of certification solutions. We try to see, how the certification solutions relate with each other, and I will explain later what we do. There is this issue of code of conduct that the Commission is about to release. I guess they are working on it. We have issues related to the SLAs, so how I go to the cloud, what kind of parameters I have to pay attention to, what regulates my relationship with the cloud provider, and what happens if something goes wrong. So, and of course, we have the ECP, which is, I believe, the overall overarching body that gives kind of a political and industrial vision. Yesterday, we got a lot of feedback from this group, and I think this is important to have also this component. Now, there is another dimension to it, which is in the security area. There is a proposal by the Commission on an NIS directive, as it is called, and the idea is to introduce an incident reporting scheme. This proposal includes a number of sectors, and cloud computing is one of the sectors. There is a big debate whether cloud should be part of it or not, and it doesn't make sense to go into this detail now and argue about it. But however, this is something that ENISA has developed in the area of the telecommunication market, and the whole proposal of the Commission for extending this concept to other sectors builds on the experience of ENISA, and this is actually the scheme that we use here in the telecommunication market. So whenever an important incident happens, it is reported to the national competent authorities, and then at the end of the year, it is reported to ENISA and to the Commission. This is not a crisis management mechanism. It's basically an ex-post analysis mechanism for collecting incidents and try to analyze the root causes of them. It gives also a certain visibility to policymakers about what really happens in the cloud. And overall, we believe that this is an interesting idea, and it is quite useful. Assuming that this is a useful component, ENISA already worked on it with the stakeholders, and we will present this year, in the coming weeks, a report about how such a reporting scheme could be implemented. So now we participate in the EU policies, and we are trying to relate ourselves with the European Cloud Partnership. So we try to give input to the different activities on the working groups. We are very active in the area of governmental clouds. Today, actually, we will publish a report on governmental clouds. Yesterday, our director, Professor Helmbrecht, presented the report to you, so it's going to be public today. This is really an important report because I believe that cloud computing is not only useful for SMEs and industrial players, but it can be very, very useful also for public bodies, not necessarily only for the federal governments, but also for municipalities and other kinds of public institutions. And we will save a lot of resources and money. I see this as a natural evolution of what we call e-government here. And talking to a number of countries, we realize that there are still a lot of things to be done. A lot of countries are thinking about the cloud. They have no concrete ideas and not a very specific vision. And we hope that our report will give them some insights of the issues and the challenges that will pop up. I will be very happy to cover this topic later in the Q&A session if there are questions. So definitely another topic that we are dealing with is the certification. There is a special interest group of the Commission that actually we have now given a mandate to collect the different certification schemes, and we will analyze them. The idea is to build up a meta framework of a meta certification scheme, a scheme that is actually will have the major requirements for possible certification, and then relate all the existing certification schemes to this. By doing this, we will give the possibility to national bodies to use these requirements as a basis for selecting the most appropriate certification scheme. And actually, we have built up a portal, a system where existing certification schemes can register themselves. It is online, and we have already received applications by a number of certification schemes. It is available, and I will show you later, the URL. It is public. There is no credential needed at the moment. We will definitely later make the analysis and see how we go forward. So this is the work that we do. We would like next year to build up this meta framework, and we believe that this is possible. It will be also quite useful, I think, for the sector to have a scheme which doesn't have, let's say, commercial biases, something that is a little bit neutral and takes things, in a holistic manner, and then all schemes could relate to them. We hope that we should organize this in following a kind of a capability maturity model. These are a few ideas that we have at the moment. It's not sure whether we will follow this, because these capability maturity models tend to become a little bit complicated. But definitely, we believe that this is a product that will bring a structure to this issue of certification, and maybe other colleagues, will use this when they would like to certify, for example, providers in a federated environment. So this is the mock-up, and this is how the process will be done. And in this URL, you can go today and get an idea of the existing certification schemes that have been registered there. Actually, my colleagues, asked me to make an online demo of the tool, but given the constraints, I will propose that each one of you do that at your own time. So, but definitely this will be an important component, and will increase a little bit, the visibility and the transparency of the topic. So we hope that people who are interested on certification can go to our resilience portal and get an idea of what is available and see, what it is. So far, there are a number of them already published. So governmental cloud, we believe here, as I said, that it is a very important topic, and we hope that all member states will build on this experience. There are a lot of challenges here. Should I go for a public cloud? Should I go for a private? Should I build the cloud myself? What do I do? Should I outsource parts of the cloud to external providers? Should I insource everything? What do I do with the data? Where the data are stored? Because I'm talking about governmental cloud, so there are sensitive data in a number of cases. How do I deal with the sensitive data? Do I go for cloud for this kind of data, or keep them separate? There are a lot of interesting questions, and we cannot avoid the debate forever. I think that this is the time to act. And NISA's report, comes up with a number of proposals. It has also a stock taking of countries that are quite active in this field, so you can be inspired by them and see, what they are doing. You will be surprised to see which countries are active, and others that you would expect to be active are not very active. So read the report and you will see. So we believe that cloud computing is an infrastructure that will become sooner or later critical. And this is something that we would like to raise. Not all clouds will become critical, but a few clouds will be critical. And in that respect, we can easily talk about critical cloud infrastructure. We have analyzed this ourselves a few years ago. We didn't go deep into the details, but we believe that more research, more analysis needs to be done here, especially if we talk about critical clouds. So imagine that the Ministry of Health in Germany, moves all e-health applications, in a cloud, and then all medical records and electronic online prescriptions, are available there. this is by definition a critical cloud, not in the sense that, not from the availability point of view, but definitely from the integrity point of view and the confidentiality point of view. So the same happens, if a bank moves to the cloud and uses, the cloud, as a platform for clearing transactions. This becomes also a critical cloud. So the more we depend on the cloud, the more we move sensitive processes and data into the cloud, then the more we should consider this as a critical infrastructure. So I think I covered this, and I will quickly go into a number of recommendations just to heat up a little bit the discussion and bring a little bit, kind of an interesting debate. There are a lot of activities related to national risk management, risk assessment. They cover definitely a number of existing infrastructures and technologies. We believe that cloud should be part of it because more and more people move to the cloud. So this is definitely something that we would like to raise here. Second, we believe also that cloud computing is not an abstract, infinite infrastructure with unlimited resources that everybody can use. It is a technology, has its own limitations, and is based on existing hardware and software and networks. So in the interdependency of the cloud with a backbone network is an important research component, especially if we talk about federated clouds and massive data move from one location to the other. So we have definitely an issue with critical clouds, and here we don't know if cloud computing is a telecommunications service, and in that respect, the national regulatory authorities are responsible for it, or it is another sector, and definitely in that case, another competent authority needs to be engaged. So if cloud would become such an important infrastructure, we don't know who regulates clouds, and maybe currently we might not need regulation, but in the future, I guess we might need a certain order, and it's not very clear to me in Europe what is the real structure for regulating clouds, and we put this here as a debate to see who is responsible. We believe that pre-commercial procurement is an important element, and we are very happy that there is this project that will drive this force. We believe that this will be an issue. Minimum security requirements for cloud, and this is an issue that was raised yesterday by the president of BSI. There are a number of studies going on, and this is something that ENISA will work on. This is very important because I don't know if you call it certification, if you call it audit, but however, there should be a way of having a number of sophistication levels and a number of security measures, and you should be able, to certify them. So I see the moderator pushing me, to close up. So there are a number of issues also related to SLA, and the EU works on them. And we have absolutely a lot of issues related to research for the cloud computing area. So this is definitely something that we need to consider. We run a working group with world-class experts from several clouds. This is the panel. This is, the overview of all the providers. This is really impressive. So if you want to associate with us, if you want to be part of this exciting working group, if you would like to contribute and give us feedback, you can contact us here, or you can come to me later after the break and give me your business card, and we will engage you in the group. This is the work that ENISA has done in the area of cloud. As you can see, is increasing and covering more and more topics. So expect us to be around for the next few years on this exciting topic. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vangelis.